Okay, hello. Today I'm going to be talking about Virtua Fighter Crossroads. Ever since the trailer, obviously I'm a huge fan of Virtua Fighter. I have been for a few years. I wish I got into it earlier, honestly, because, and sorry if this sounds a bit off, because I lost my voice, like it's completely gone. But I've been thinking about making this video for quite some time now about Virtua Fighter 6, how hype I am, and what better time, with Virtua Fighter Crossroads, obviously title reveal, we have a story reveal, we have a bunch of gameplay reveals, and obviously we can use that to bounce off of certain things that were revealed before. And I'm really excited for this game. This is probably one of my most anticipated fighting games ever, as like a VF fan, and honestly a fighting game fan and a martial arts fan. And I'm also really hyped for it as someone who's a fan of single player content in fighting games. I feel like that's one of the most overlooked things. So I just have a few categories here. So obviously I'm going to go over my overall thoughts, which we've just done there. I'm really excited for this game. I have a bit of worries, but I'm extremely excited. I want to go over now the new characters and my hopes for the roster. I have a few tabs there to help me with that, but I'm not really going to use a lot of them. Then we're going to have some system changes, and by system changes, it's mostly just like new system mechanics that they're going over. But there are some changes that I would deem them as changes because they are influenced by either things that already exist, or they're kind of things that already exist, but they just changed a bit. Then we have worries. I have two main worries that I'll go over, and then I'll show my closing thoughts. So with that, let's get into it. So starting out, we have the roster. So it's already been confirmed that we have 16 characters, as you can see by this image. So we have the 4 characters, so Cielo, Stella, and the 2 other main characters that we don't know the names of yet. And I believe there were 4 other characters that were already confirmed, or maybe even more actually. So we have Akira, we have Pi, that obviously they're confirmed. But then we also have, apparently all the characters on the mural are confirmed from what I understood. So Jackie and we've seen Wolf, obviously. But then there's also Jeffrey, because there's a little side mission thing. If you rewatch the trailer, I should pull it up, but it's really hard to find because I have to go all the way back through it. But when I was rewatching that, I saw that as like a little side mission. You have to do stuff with Jeffrey, so Jeffrey McWild's gonna be in the game. And then there's, I believe, Kagemoto is going to be in the game as well, because someone said he literally shows up for a few seconds, but what confuses me is that I didn't actually see him, so I don't know. Like, I saw the Jeffrey McWild stuff, but I don't know if he's actually going to show up. Kagemoto, I mean, because I didn't see him. Like, I was looking and looking and looking, but people say he showed up, so I'm going to believe them, honestly, because they probably saw better than I did. So that's already a few characters revealed, So that's, let me go back and count. So that's Akira, Pi, and then the 4 new characters, and then Jeffrey, Jackie, Wolf, and then Kagemoto, I believe. I believe that's 10. So that means we have 6 more characters. So what I'm worried about is which characters are they going to introduce, which characters are they going to keep, what characters are they going to show off. Because there's a lot of characters, a lot of legacy characters in Virtua Fighter. So if I just pull up like a roster for VF5 Revo World Stage, which is the newest game, we can see from this roster here, so we already have this, Akira's confirmed, Pi's confirmed, Wolf is confirmed, Jeffrey's pretty much confirmed, Jackie's confirmed because he's in the mural, she's replaced with Stella, I assume, because, they're very similar. And they have a similar moveset. I don't know the story of it because her name is, I believe, Stella Bridges, whereas obviously Sarah Bryant. Kagemoto is confirmed, and I believe that's it for these characters. But then there's also, so that's a lot of the characters from the top row. Some of the OGs. Lao Chan, he's obviously so old that like I think he's kind of just dead in the lore. But if we actually look at how many characters that is, that's 10 characters already. So we have 6 more characters, and like how many of these characters can we keep? Like Leon is such a classic character, he's been in VF for such a long time, but are they going to include him? Are they going to include like maybe someone related to him? Someone like Jean Cujo. He's, from what I understand, like a popular character. I think he's really cool, and I think a lot of people agree. But he's VF5. Go, who's my main, and he's like my favorite, one of my favorite fighting game characters of all time. He is like easily top 3 fighting game characters for me. I love him. But he's VF4, so like, or I believe VF4 Evo specifically. But would he be like beloved enough to be put into it, or at least be relevant? Like, I don't know. So it's really difficult for me to really pinpoint who would be in the game, you know, because, you know, obviously there's characters like Shundi and Lo-chan that are like so old that like, how are you going to put them in with, you know, how much these characters have aged? But on top of that, you know, there's just like a lot of other factors about like playability, and then, you know, where you want to bring the series, what you want to do with these characters, just a bunch of stuff really that I don't really know what's going to happen with the roster. What I would hope for is, and I'll actually pull up a picture of him now. There's a character that was introduced, and we've seen a screenshot of him. Hold on. I need to show side by side just to show it off. So this is one of the villains, or at least he's a villain character. I believe the lore is that he wants to go and kill the martial artists or something, or like he calls hits on the martial artists. I forgot what it was exactly, but it's something about killing martial artists. This is design. And Go Hinogami, this is Virtua Fighter 5 render and design. His thing is like he's working for a corporation, I believe, and like or someone, and like he's an assassin that goes around and he wants to kill. They want him to kill all the martial artists. So it's kind of similar, but also if you look at his design, like the hair, the pale skin, the like sharp eyes, and like the very, I guess, dotted pupils, I would say, or whatever, and like the you know, especially like the skin and the hair and like where the eyes are placed in his mouth. They like this. I don't know if it's going to be, but a lot of people are speculating like, damn, that's Go. And honestly, I would like if this is Go, because if you're going to do that classic thing of like, there's something old school coming back, and you know, it's causing these things to happen. Because that's what I believe the plot is, where it's like some, you know, they've moved on, but something, you know, arises from the past or whatever. I feel like this one would fit well, because it's grounded enough to not be like, oh, there's, you know, space aliens or whatever, but also like a guy going around killing martial artists, like that to me makes a lot of sense for at least like a minor antagonist in the lore, especially because he already exists. And also I'm biased because I really want Go, and this guy looks really cool, and I would be really excited if this was, you know, Go's new design. As much as I love this design, honestly I don't think entirely this is Go, but I have a gut feeling that it might be. Just because why would they introduce this like random new guy with like no, like how would he relate to the lore of Virtua Fighter? To me that doesn't really make much sense, I guess, is the best way to put it. Because if the whole point is like, you know, these characters are legacy and the new blood, they're like discovering the past essentially. Like that's how I understood it, because it's like, you know, they moved on, or no, it didn't move on, but like there's like negatives coming back from the past, you know, like bad things that we thought we pushed away, but then, you know, now they're back, and Pai-chan is fighting again, and Akira is doing Akira things. To me, it's just one of those things that's like, why would you waste an opportunity, like not including someone like Go, who's like kind of, from what I understand, relevant to the story, and also he's really cool. I want him in the game. He's my favorite guy, so I feel like they should put him in. But with that, I think the roster is super cool. I think the roster is really sick. I think these two characters look really cool. I think the two other characters look really sick as well. I'm so excited to play Cielo. He's going to be really fun. I like MMA as like a martial art, and I think it would be really cool to incorporate that into this game. Because there's not much, you know, I guess the word is contemporary. I'm not sure. But like more modern. And also, he looks really cool, and his voice act is cool, and the music that played is cool. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. And with that, I think I'm gonna move on to the next bit, because yeah, I want Go really bad. I want, you know, I want at least someone, an evolution of Jean Kujo, or just Jean in general. Someone said that the characters in the trailer, the assassins that were like hopping out, I think one of them was blonde and one of them had white hair. Someone speculated that those were the children of like that was Leon's kid, and that was Jean's kid. The other one was Jean's kid, which I think would be super cool. Like that's a cool evolution, but we just have to wait and see, I guess, because yeah, with that, let's move on. So with the new characters, and like I really like them, and the roster out of the way, which like I'm sure they're gonna do a great roster, all things considered. I really hope goes in the game. I'm praying goes in the game because he's my favorite character. But I'm sure I like Cielo and stuff like that, you know. So it's one of those things that's like I'm not too crazy. I'll be kind of sad, but I'm not gonna lose my mind. But now moving on to the system changes. I think this is where the game gets really, really interesting, and this is where I want to spend most of the time. So I don't have all the images here because there are other images like the I forgot what it's called, but like the shatter breaking or whatever, like when you break someone's limbs or whatever. We'll get into that. But I think what's most important is that, so this is from TGS, right? So because nothing new was really revealed in terms of game mechanics at Summer Games Fest and the subsequent Virtual Fighter like direct, I guess you would call it. I don't know what it's really called, but like the showcase. That was more like narrative with like some gameplay, and like we're trying to expand the gameplay, and they're kind of just talking about that. But other than that, it showed us a lot of great footage, and it was a really amazing showcase. But the TGS one, I believe this is either TGS or Evo Japan. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's TGS's showcase. So this showed off 2 new battle rules, which obviously is standard. Which, you know, first to win 3 rounds, that's typical. Bring out these are all just like traditional Virtua Fighter rules. So it's yeah, obviously they're gonna put that in the game. But then there's Uprising, which no one knows about yet. So it's designed, they say it's designed to be a standard, alongside standard as a main gameplay pillar. So they want people to play this. It's not like Extreme Battle where it's like a side mode. They want this to be modern. And people were speculating like Fighters Destiny and stuff like that. I forgot what it was, Fighters Mega Mix. One of the 2 games, because I haven't really played either of those. I should get into them. But someone was saying like, there's a mode in those. Excuse me. There's a mode in those that is akin to something like the way they describe Uprising. But honestly, and I know I'm gonna open the game. I'm not gonna piss a lot of people off, but I'm gonna open the game. It's Garoden. I have to talk about Garoden every time I talk about anything. I'm not playing on pad. I'm playing on stick right now. So if you see at the bottom. Sorry, it's a bit small, the window, because normally I play on a CRT. But if you see the bottom of the characters, like right where their feet are, there's like a meter. See, it's going down as I hit him. But sorry, it's like changing as I hit him. You can see it a bit, but like, yeah, see like that. That shows a good example. See how it goes? Like his side, it's like a tug of war, right? So now if it hits me, I'm gonna reset just to show it up. But see, if I reset, it's going to go back. But if it hits me, it's sort of like a tug-of-war situation. So, my theory is that they're going to take it from Garoden. The reason why I think they're going to take this tug-of-war mechanic where it's like, oh, you hit them, and then like, oh, they hit you back, and it goes back and forth until someone's like, until you reach like the bottom, right? I feel like, oh, you know, I've hit you enough times, and now you're all the way at the bottom, right? And I win. The reason why I think they're going to take it from this is because this is not the only thing they've taken from Garoden. If you think about it. Sure, it may be in other fighting games. I'm pretty sure it is. I think people reference like Fighters Mega Mix or something. But Garoden, to me, is the one that does this at least the best, or it's the one I know the most. So, maybe I'm just biased. But this is why I titled the video, or I'm going to title the video, Virtua Fighter Crossroads may already exist. Because, you know, it's very Garoden with some of these new stuff. Some of these new mechanics. But yeah, I think it's going to work like this. Because I think it's really, really cool. I just think it makes a lot of sense, you know, to have like, oh, if you want to do it like an actual MMA fight or something, or, you know, something that's akin to a real fight, I guess you would call it, where it's like, you know, it's sort of like an exchange rather than health bars. I feel like that would be interesting and cool. But who knows how they're going to do it, really. What I'm worried about is that it's going to have so much focus, and it's not going to be very tournament viable, like not that good. That like people aren't going to really play it, and it's going to be like relegated to a bonus mode, but they're going to be pouring in so much effort into it that it's going to like take away from other things. That's my main worry, but it's not really in the worry section because it's not that big of a worry. Like it's not really that big of a deal. And I think it's going to be fun. I have faith in it. And then, so this is the first new battle mechanic, or I guess it's a battle system, but it's a new battle mechanic. I had to look for these images for a while. Because I don't use Twitter, so I couldn't really like search them up with that guy's tweet. Post all these in English. But I have 2, I believe, so that might be enough, or I guess 3. So anyway, Flow Guard. We saw Akira do this where he like it looked like an SF6 parry. People were speculating, and it says, so a new defensive system designed with stylish movements. Obviously, like you do the special block, the flow guard, and then he does like a cool like animation to block. And they say expand options and introduces fresh dynamics for offense and defense beyond traditional guarding. This to me, I'm not gonna say is worrying, but is interesting, because Virtua Fighter has always been like very vanilla, which I love about it, because it allows it to have so much depth and complexity with just 3 buttons. Because things like fuzzy guard, lazy tech, or I guess lazy guard tech, I forgot what it was called, lazy throw breaks, or one of them. You have like obviously fuzzies. You have like the way evades work on like minus frames. I love the game so much, and I love it because of that. This, I hope it's not too strong. And the way I perceive this mechanic is, we have to go back to Garoden. It's another Garoden thing. So this is gonna be a bit hard to show off because I'm not gonna like be able to go into the settings and translate all the Japanese. I normally just do it. I normally just wing it until I get it right, or I use the wiki. Even though I've been playing this game for a while, I'm still very stupid. So, you can see here, he's taking, if I do like punches, he's taking like a wee bit of damage, right? If I like punch him a lot, it's very hard to punch him with this character. But if you look at the very bottom, there's like a green meter underneath his name, Joji Umikawa. Underneath his name, there's a little green meter. You can see it's depleting. That's like his physical meter, basically. From what I understand, I think that's the translation of it. His physical meter is basically like when it goes down, you tank hits worse, right? Because normally when you trade in this game, you can like hit things and like you can trade and you can start swinging at each other. But the lower your physical, like in a real fight, if your physical gets broken down, then you can't trade hits. So if you get hit by a punch, a weaker punch that would normally be able to, like you would normally be able to tank through it. Sorry, my voice. You would normally be able to tank through it. When your physical is low in this game, your physical bar is low, you will lose that ability from weaker hits. It will slowly get worse and worse and worse because, you're in worse condition. So, when you block... So, this is like an auto guard. He's doing like an auto guard. But this game has a guard button, right? So, you can block like low attacks. So, this is body and... like, obviously, this is like lows, like low kicks to the legs and like body, I believe, to body block. And then you have your... your head guard, and you have to obviously guess like a fighting game. You have to know which one they're going to do. So, but this blocks all damage basically. So like all this, the physical damage blocks all of it. I think flow guard is going to work like this, where you do it and it guards. It's going to work like a mix of both. It's going to guard everything, but there's going to be one big downside. Virtua Fighter is a game where you throw, and they have to guess. It's not like Tekken. It's not like Tekken where if I throw you like this. Oh, I see your left arm coming forward. I'm going to press 1 to break it. Oh, I see both hands going forward. I'm going to press 1 plus 2. I see right hand. I'm going to press 2. It's not like that. It's literally just, like, generally speaking, obviously I play Go, so it's hard to really compare because my character's fucked up. But in VF4, it was different because I originated with VF4. How it works is that when you throw someone, there's different directions. So you have neutral throw. Obviously, I'm not showing a Virtua Fighter. I should show a Virtua Fighter, but I don't have it open. Actually, we can open it right now. So I have VF5, and there's no display settings. Sorry, I don't know why all this is off. All right, so I have VF5 Revo World Stage. Incredible game. You should buy it if you haven't. It's on sale. Ignoring the shitty anti-cheat it has, but that's so yeah, there are 3 types of throws in this game, generally speaking, right? So there's neutral throws, which are they do the least amount of damage, and then you have back throws, which do back throws. These do a bit more damage. Usually speaking, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know if it's different per character. I'm pretty sure that's a general rule. That's how I learned like the game with like these general rules. And the general one is that forward throw is the most. See, there's 45 here. Whereas it does 40. Maybe Akira is not the best example, but this is how it generally should work, right? But all you have to know is that it's a guess, right? So I can't tell. I can't tell whether I'm gonna do whether the opponent's gonna do neutral, forward, or back. You just have to guess. So let's say I do this, right? I'm +5. and then obviously it's not like a real example like this. So let's say I'm at +4, and then the opponent's like, oh, he's gonna neutral throw, and then I do forward throw. You have to press it, or there's lazy guard tech, right? You can do this, and then you tech all throws, but you have to still know the direction, right? You have to either go back, forward, or neutral. So it's ultimately a guess, unlike Tekken. So that's like one of the key things behind it. Now, with that in mind, there's something in Garoden that's very specific that I'll show off now. So, back in Garoden, if you guard, I don't know how I'm going to show this off because I don't have recordings and I'm too lazy to like get outside control and stuff. But if you guard in this game, how it works is like you grab them and it's like go. Every character basically is go Hinogami. They have like the stance, and some characters can move you in the foreground and background, like this. But every character can move you forward and backwards, or they can just do like a follow up immediately. And you know it's so they have to break here, and then they also have to break here if you want to go for more damage and get better reward. So let's say I do like this, he does like that little judo throw. But then if I read him and I go forward, and I press attack. I do like the big one. It does so much more damage. So it's pretty easy to understand, right? All things considered. If you don't, you should play Garoden. It's very good. But that's not what matters. What matters the most, right? This initial catch, or this initial like clinch, or throw, or grab, or whatever you want to call it, this is techable. But it is not techable when you're guarding. When you're guarding, no matter which guard you're using, right? If you're doing neutral guard, right? This one, you're not doing anything. If you're doing any of these and they throw you out of the guard, or if they throw you out of an advancing guard, which is another thing. But if they throw you out of a guard, from what I understand, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure it's if they throw out of any guard. If they throw you out of a guard, you cannot tech at all. It's not possible. It's not like, I'm pretty sure you don't get like extra damage or anything. I think it's the exact same. But you can't tech. Now that's big, because going back to flow guard, I think, so generally speaking in Virtua Fighter, how throws work is that they're the fastest options in the game. So like in VF3 TB, I'm pretty sure they're 1 frame, like they're frame 1. Because I was learning that game the other day. Because that was originally the first VF I played, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then I went into VF4 a couple of years later. And I really loved VF for a few years. But anyway, I believe they're full circular. Which means if you sidestep, they always grab in both directions, so they're good for that. And also, they're good mix-up tools because even though they're highs, they're extremely fast. They're the fastest things in the game. I believe most of them are 10 frames. I think that's a general rule, maybe give or take. So they're faster than jabs, unlike Tekken. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, they're full circular, so they you know. But also, there's a big thing with like fuzzy. With lazy guard break, which I showed off, where it's like if they throw you, you can just hold P plus G, and let's say you're holding neutral P plus G for the sake of it, right? You're just holding guard and you're holding P at the same time. Or punch, sorry. Let's say you're doing that. They can't throw you. They can't neutral throw you at all. It's not possible, even if you're guarding. So that's what makes, in VF5 specifically, that's what makes lazy throw escape or lazy guard tag. I forgot what it's called, but lazy throw escape. That's what makes it possible, because you can just hold it. But obviously you have to guess the direction, but like you go, or like neutral, but you can just hold it. What I think flow guard's going to be, it's going to be kind of like a special parry, but you can't throw escape it. And maybe it has like some recovery or something. I don't know. But that's my theory. I'm just spitballing here, but like mainly the whole thing is like throws beat it. Maybe you get like a counter hit throw, you get more damage. Like for Street Fighter 6, where like they do a perfect parry and you throw them. You get like, you know, a counter hit throw, a punish counter throw, you get like extra damage. Maybe this game will have the same thing. I don't really know. But all I know is that that's my theory, right? It's another Garoden-like mechanic. That's what I think is going to happen. And then the next one is Stunner and Stun Combo. This is the one I was very excited for. I have a lot to talk about this one, or quite a bit. And also things that relate to this one, but aren't really this. So, a big thing about this, right? So, new combo system initiated from stun attacks. We know what these look like because I believe, from what I understand, this is the one where like they do the attack. For example, Akira does the head break move, and then she like stumbles back a bit, and then he breaks her guard, and then he does like the big like uppercut chop, and then that like sort of breaks her guard, and then like stuns her a bit, and then he does a big combo. Yeah, they're very realistic and they look great. Approachable for new players is interesting because, like, what do you mean by approachable for new players? Is it because it's like you hit a certain body part, which I'll get to? It's another Garodan thing. This is what I'm talking about. And then what's really important is traditional combos return. They do, but it's very weird, and I want to show it off. So, the first thing I'll show off is what I think this will be like. So, if I go back to best game ever Garodan. If I go back to Garodan here, right? Do you see those little guys on the left and right? Like the silhouettes, the green silhouettes? If you see here, right, if he just does the auto guard. Let me see, I hit him. See how, like, the parts of his body are, like, flashing? That means those parts are getting injured. You say it says part and part break. It's showing me what part I'm hitting, right? So I'm hitting the right leg. Right leg. Still right leg. And now I'm going to move over here. And now I'm hitting the left leg, right? And it says part break, you know, they have, like, different stats. But basically, obviously, you know, different body, different parts, you know. So if I do this, now I'm breaking left arm because it's like a, you know, snapping his left arm. So what I think is going to happen is that this stun combo thing is going to be kind of similar to that because we see it in the gameplay trailer. I might have to go back through the gameplay trailer again just to show it off. But we can see in the gameplay trailer, there's actually scenes where, like, for example, you know, when they originally showed the TGS gameplay reveal, you can see, like, Akira does, like, the punch, and then he does, like, a big, like, uppercut move. And then, or, like, the uppercut, like, chop. Oh, sorry, knife hand, I guess you'd call it. But, like, basically, like, that stuns her after he hits her in the limbs enough. And we actually see it, I didn't want to go to the gameplay video immediately, but we actually see it in the gameplay video. Actually, I can just go, I'll find it now, and I'll show it off. Okay, so I have 1080p footage here. It says 1080p, but the bit rate's very low. But you can see here, right? Cielo does like he does like a little punch, and then he pushes him up, pushes his head up, and then he kicks him, and then boom, it does the effect. This is the one that matters the most to me. So he does a low kick, right? And Cielo guarded. I don't know if he guarded or he got hit. See here. So he ducks that move, and he counter hits him. You can see here, I'm pretty sure Cielo guards. And then he gets counter hit. Yeah, see, he's guarding, and then he gets oh, sorry, not counting, but he gets hit with a low, or at least something that aims for his legs. I'm gonna assume this is a low. So now his legs are flashing, and then boom, he gets hit with that low again. So it's like kind of similar to Garodan, where it's like you hit them the limbs enough they break. Boom, hits him with the same low, and now he gets the animation. Boom, big low, and I'm pretty sure they said that this stays until the next round. I'm pretty sure I saw that in a Maximilian video, but I'm not entirely sure. And see, now it does this like weird animation thing where like time slows down. I don't know about all that, but yeah, this is interesting to me because it's very Garodan. You know, I don't know if there's another game. There's probably another game that does it, but like it's very similar to that, where it's like you attack certain limbs, you get certain benefits. I'm really excited for that. I think that's so cool. That's a really cool evolution of like the martial arts of Virtua Fighter in general. It helps progress the series without pushing it too much to the point where like it's fantasy, if that makes sense. Because I feel, you know, it has no drive rush, none of that stuff. I'm glad it doesn't. I hope it does. I hope there's nothing equivalent to that, because that wouldn't work with Virtua Fighter. You know, Virtua Fighter is like less neutral, more like up close, personal, like real fighting. You know, and I think that's so cool. And I think the final thing to point out about this is the traditional combos return line. What's interesting about that is that yes, it is true. We've seen traditional combos return. The traditional combos look different, but also it's not a removal of those mechanics, if that makes sense. So I'll show off one combo. I'm not going to do it because someone already did it before me. So if we go here, right, we're going to see three combos from these three characters. So the first one is Cielo, right? So he has like a little stagger, or at least, well, it looks like a stagger, maybe like a crumple. Looks like a crumple. And then he does a combo, and then he does, yeah, so now she's crumpled. And then he does what looks like, I don't know, 6-6 PK, 6-6 P, probably 6-6 PK. But you can see she does, like, she flips on her back. It's a launcher. And you can probably get a combo off that. This is the one, so that means there are launchers in this game. Like, those do exist. Like, people can get launched, like, you know, VF, like especially like VF5, you know? Like, when Go does, like, 1 PK, and then he does jab, and then he does 9 PK, and he does that restand, and it's like a launch, and then he's doing launch into juggle into restand. Like, those combos look like they kind of exist here, like that big launch. This combo, and also they showed off with PyChan. I'll show PyChan's one quicker because I feel like hers is more. It shows that off as well. You can see it, like he got launched. What's important about it is that Wolf has this combo in, like this exact combo in Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. He can do the combo. So someone made a comparison video. I'll pull up now. But you see this combo, right? This thing that he does where like it crumples and then he does shoulder. I forgot the input of shoulder is. I think it's 66pk. I don't actually, no, it's probably not. But he does, see, it does like a crumple. Sorry, I have to keep going back like this with the 5. See, he does that string that looks like PPP. And then he's crumpled to the ground instead of launched. In Virtua Fighter 5, this launches. It like launches them up and it sends them down. And then he gets his follow-up. The tackle. Or the shoulder charge. I'll show the comparison video now, hold on. So this is provided by someone on Reddit. So if you see here, right, so it's 6pk, PPP, and then 46pk, right? This is the combo we saw. You see 6pk, PPP string, and then 46pk. That's the shoulder tackle. But then if you do it in Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, which is what the person's doing here, the 6pk launches, right? This is definitely 6pk, right? That's the move. That's the exact move he does. But in this, it like staggers. And then the PPP like crumples. Whereas here it would like, yeah, it would do like that. And obviously, you know, like, so like this combo, or like, I don't know if you could call it a real combo because, you know, it's green. This combo is interesting because, like these exist in Virtua Fighter Crossroads, like these launches and stuff, because we see it here. We see like that exists. So I just don't understand why. I don't really know what the decision behind that is, but you know, it's one of those things that's like, it's interesting. But honestly, I'm excited for it because maybe, you know, new routes are cool and realistic and like, whoa, it's cool. But I hope they don't do it like a flat out removal of those traditional combos, because obviously traditional combos stay, but that could mean like combos like these that, oh, this is a traditional combo and it's staying. But I hope it doesn't get flat out removed. I hope it can still do shit like this where it's like, oh, I'm gonna kick you 40 feet up into the air and then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I hope that stays because that's cool and that like those juggles are sick, albeit a bit cartoony. You know, some people don't like them, but I like them a lot. Or at least I hope that if they're gonna stay, you could just tone them down a bit, and then, or like make them less. You know, don't make it as common, and then so we can just have best of both worlds. And I think that's a good plan. With that being said, yeah, I'm very excited for the system changes. But now we have my worries. I have 2 main worries, and the first one is this. So Sega is revealed to use generative AI on the new Crazy Taxi game, Crazy Taxi World Tour, which fucking sucks because fuck generative AI in creative fields and just fuck generative AI in general and stuff like this. So what sucks about this is that RGG Ryoga Gotoku, I believe it is, studio, RGG studio, that has made the Yakuza games, has made Virtua Fighter, or at least is currently working on them. Those teams are subsidiaries of Sega. They work for Sega, right? They're like a sub company, if you will, for Sega. So that sucks. And you may be saying like, well, you know, RGG doesn't really do this, blah blah blah. So maybe, you know, they won't do it and Sega does. And I'm like, maybe. But then their other game that they work on, Stranger Than Heaven, added Tupac, and this is what really got me worried because Tupac is dead, obviously. So how are they gonna have him voiced? How are they gonna have him acted? You can get an impersonator. I'm sure there are like a billion incredible Tupac impersonators online that you can hire, or like actors that sound like him, or people that capture his, you know, his personality, his essence, his presence. But it's one of those things that worries me because they could very easily just Gen AI it, and it will be shit. It will sound like shit. It will look like shit. It will be a disgrace to his legacy, and just all fans. But it's one of those things that's like, he's dead. And there's another actor in the game that I don't remember. He's a Japanese actor. I don't think we've heard his voice, but he's also dead. He died in like 2014 or something. So they're like reviving these people, and it's like, are they going to use AI? I don't know. And that worries me for Virtua Fighter Crossroads, because if they could use it for this game and Crazy Taxi, obviously it's not theirs. It's Sega in general. But if Sega could use for that, they could very easily be like, hey, you guys should try this for this, and then they might be like, oh, this is cool, and then they might use it for Strange in the Heaven, and then they might also use it for Virtua Fighter Crossroads. That worries me a lot. But I have faith that they won't. I'm praying that they won't, because I don't think that that's stupid. And they care about their craft. So that's like my biggest worry. But there is one more that is really big as well. And this is my other big worry. So this, if you don't know what this is, it says right there. This is the Unreal Engine, I believe it's called the dashboard, I believe. And Unreal Engine 5 notoriously is known for being very easy for developers to use, but very poorly optimized. Like, it requires skill to optimize. So this is not as big of a worry as, you know, it's a big worry, but it's not as big of a worry as, you know, the AI usage, because that would literally make me so sad, and I will not buy the game if they use generative AI at all. But Unreal Engine 5, you know, it's notoriously known for developers just being lazy and not optimizing with it because it's so easy to use and just, oh, we'll just put this thing in. Obviously, that's not how game development works, but you get the idea. So, what they used before, and what they used for, like, Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, and, you know, the other games that... I don't know about Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, like, what people think of that, but I hear from just, like, existing around the, you know, the space, because obviously I'm a huge Virtua Fighter fan, and I've existed around, you know, Sega / I guess RGG, like that company, and like this, everything related to that, and the Yakuza games and stuff for a while now, even though I'm not really like into Yakuza at all. And from what I hear, those games, like some of those games, especially like the new, I believe it's Like a Dragon Ishin, something like that, or Like a Dragon Gaiden, one of those games, right? A lot of their games are apparently extremely well optimized. Like, they're not that big compared to other games. Like, even their biggest games, it's like 80 gigs or something. Maybe, you know, it's not that large in comparison. Maybe it's like 100, probably, if you, like, stretch it. But, like, it says, like, it requires 80 gigs, but it's, like, probably even less. Sometimes it was, like, 50. It was huge. And the game could run on a Steam Deck at 60 FPS with, like, you know, like, highest graphics or some shit like that. I don't remember the exact thing, but it was, like, apparently, like, the game looked great, because all of their games look great now. On Dragon Engine, and it was very well optimized. I'm like, that's cool. But now they're using Unreal Engine 5 for this game, and I believe for Strange in the Heaven, but they haven't revealed Strange in the Heaven's engine. But this game is their only game so far, from what I understand, from what I've looked at. Maybe I'm wrong, someone can correct me in the comments. That is using Unreal Engine 5. And that worries me, because maybe they get lazy with optimization. Maybe Unreal Engine 5 is too much for the optimization team. Or maybe, you know, like, I don't know what it could be, but maybe it's just not optimized. It's just one of those things that it worries me, because I hate... every time I see Unreal Engine 5, I'm not going to say I hate Unreal Engine 5, because I don't. But I remember telling someone, like, every time I see Unreal Engine 5's logo, I sigh and I get worried. I'm like, fuck, man. Because to me, that indicates, like, oh, these developers are not going to optimize this game. Like, this game is going to be 300 gigs, it's going to need 32 gigs of RAM and a 5060 to run. And, like, I have a good spec, you know, I have, like, a 4060 and, like, you know, I think it's, like, a Ryzen 7, 16 gigs of RAM. I don't have much storage, which is, like, the big worry. Obviously, like, my computer can run things I throw at it, but, like, I don't want to, like, push my computer to the limits always, you know? That's why I love, like, older games, because, like, they run so easily. And I'm not asking this game to, like, be, like, oh, yeah, this game needs to run, like, fucking a PS2 game. Obviously not. But I just want it to be, like, you know... a good, like, okay, you know, you have to have a decent PC to run this game, but you don't need a monster PC, you know what I mean? Like, it can run, it's optimized well. Yeah, at least well enough for, like, my standards, which I don't have the high standards, but, you know, they're decent. Those are my main two worries. I guess I have a third worry, but I meant to talk about it in the combo section. It's not really a worry, it's just, like, a little tidbit I want to add. I forgot to talk about it, so let me open Virtua Fighter 5 now and just show it off, because I really want to show this off and talk about this a little bit before I give my closing thoughts. So I have Virtua Fighter 5 open here, Revo World Stage, and you might be wondering, hey girl, why do you have this game open? You know, like, what is so interesting that you want to show us? So one of my worries, and like a little combo tidbit I wanted to show off, were... So everyone knows, or if you've played any Virtua Fighter for like 5 minutes, there are character-specific combos. For example, if I hit this launcher, it doesn't launch Taka. He's the only character that's like super heavyweight. And super heavyweight basically means like you're huge, you know? That, you know, he has like character-specific combos on him, you know, because of that reason. And that, I think, 100% is going to be included in Virtua Fighter Crossroads. I'm not saying it won't, because, you know, it's such a key part to Virtua Fighter, and, you know, they constantly talk about realism, and it's like, what's realistic about launching this guy 50 feet into the air, like Eileen, who's like super lightweight. Like, that doesn't really make much sense. However, what is interesting to me is the fact that Virtua Fighter, so Virtua Fighter is known for being very easy to pick up, but it's also known for like realism, and also like difficulty. At like once you get better, it becomes more difficult, I'd say, because there's a lot of nuance to optimize this game. Like, for example, there's stance specific combos. So in martial arts, we call this a closed stance. It's basically when the faces are facing each other. Well, I guess you would say the legs. The torsos are facing each other, is what I'm trying to say. This is a closed stance, right? So we're both in orthodox. Now I'm in a southpaw stance. My right foot is forward. This is called an open stance. We're both facing the same direction. What's interesting, the reason why I chose Taka, right? And obviously my main go, because I know combos would go. But the reason why I chose Taka specifically is because this combo, right? My bad, I was going to start a new recording, but I like got shocked and I'm like, why is this working? I realized I was doing the wrong combo. Because I was looking over and I was like, wait, that's not the combo I do. The combo I normally do, you know, it doesn't work on him. But the combo, so you have this one, which I believe works on both stances, open and closed. See, like there. But there's one that doesn't, right? This one. Actually, wait, let me see if I can do a closed stance first. So you do this, right? The same route, but then you do it like Rekka, and then you do this. See how it hits here? 89 damage. But if I do it here, in open stance, see now I'm in open stance. If I do it like this, it doesn't work. I'm losing over 20, like what, 24 damage, right? The combo doesn't work. And the reason why is because this combo is closed stance only. Because the way this moves, right? For example, if I do this in closed stance with my left foot facing forward, this is using my right hand, and then it's a left hook. So it's an evade front, you know? You have to evade to the front. So it's a circular from that direction, from the left direction, I guess you would say, from your left. But then if the other way, it's the other hand, which means it's like that. And what's happening here is that it's literally just not connected with the hurt box, I guess is the best way is the easiest explanation, from what I understand. But what's important about this is that this is realistic, quote unquote realistic, and I think it's pretty neat for optimization, but it can be a bit tedious and annoying and like stupid. So I'm worried, or I guess confused, that like maybe they won't put this in the game, you know, because I don't know, maybe they won't. But it's one of those things that's like, you know, you can do what you do, and if you can't control it. But this is like such a minuscule thing. Like, I wouldn't be losing my mind if they took it out, you know, especially with like so many other worries and like the little combo tidbits we've already seen, and like how cool the combos structure seems so far with like, you know, route like launches and stuns, and we'll see. But other than that, I've said my closing thoughts, I think, and then yeah, I'm just so excited for this game. So this video has been a bit like unscripted. You know, I've just been like rambling, and I feel like the video is a bit long, but like I've had so many things I wanted to talk about. I hope I covered them all. I hope I don't remember something later. I'm like, fuck, I should have said this. That's kind of why I did that thing with the go combo, because I really wanted to show that, even if I fucked it up for the first time, because I literally forgot the route. I haven't done it in quite a bit. But anyway, my closing thoughts. I am so excited for this game. It looks beautiful. I'm the biggest single player shill. I like, even though I competed for over a decade in fighting games, for games that basically have no single player, like Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, right? Or like fucking, you know, just games that don't really have single player content that is like very relevant. I still love it, you know. I still love the world stage mode in VF5. I adore VF5 Revo world stage specifically. I adore VF Evolution's quest mode. I love World Tour, even though it's not as much as like these other games. Even things like just like CPU battles with like arcade mode, and it's like, whoa, you see like a character like do this thing, or like Invincible Versus has like a story mode I thought was really cool, and it's like, whoa, these characters are doing this cool stuff, and like you give me like certain requirements for battle, or like objectives to complete, or an arcade mode with like specialized endings, like stuff like that, right? I think that's really cool, And it's one of my favorite parts of fighting games, you know, getting invested in these characters, getting invested in this world that I've spent so much time sort of existing in. Whoa, that was weird. But just, I've spent so much time existing in this world, and like now I get to, you know, experiment, sorry, I keep acting like I'm in training mode. I get to see these characters like live, I get to see these characters like what they do, I get to see like them act, I get to see all these things about them, and like, honestly, like the single player is so cool because you get like purpose with these characters, you know. Oh, I get to explore, you know, Villa Separa, which is like, looks really fucking good. And you get to do all this shit. It's like so sick. But other than that, like it looks really sick, and I'm really fucking excited. But let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm excited for this game. Let's go Rodin 2.